Hello, my name is Josh Weber, and this is my personal leadership speech. So, the first question that I chose of the two was, think about the last job interview in which I participated in, and how effective was the interviewer, and what could he or she have done differently to improve their interview process. So, I found this question particularly intriguing to me because I actually just recently had an interview at a place called Pure Hockey, which is it's pretty much one of the only hockey stores we actually have here in Arizona. So I grew up playing a lot of hockey, so I kind of was looking for a job, and I said, hey, let's go here and let's get an interview. So I applied. I got an interview a few days ago, and in terms of the effectiveness, I thought that there was two people interviewing me. I thought that they were both fairly effective. I think they were both asking me a decent amount of questions that were pretty relative to the job. Um, but I do think that there's a couple things I think they could have done differently. First was I kind of wish they would have explained a little more information about the job and kind of what parts I would be working at and covering. They didn't really cover that much. They were kind of just making it all about me in a way and kind of just asking me about my background and history and not a ton about the job, which I guess it's kind of up to the future employee to also kind of research a little bit on that on the store too. But at the same time, I feel like they should have done a little better job explaining that. And the other thing is, I wish they would have read my resume. They told me that they had a lot of applications and they weren't really looking at everybody's resume. They were just kind of looking here and there, whatever ones they could, um, which is a little unfortunate because I think my resume highlights some of the great details about me. Um, but yeah, overall, I think they were pretty good. I think did a pretty good interview, but there's just a couple things there. Those last 2 points that I said there, I got that from a website on how to become a better interviewer by Patrick Glenn is his name. He made that website, so we had some really good information on there. For the second question, I was asked, have you ever worked with a difficult person? If so, how did you communicate with this person? Was your communication effective or ineffective? And then, based on what I've learned this chapter, how would I change my communication in this situation? So, yeah, I've worked with many difficult people, but I'd say the most recent one was probably over the summer when I worked at Culver's. It's a fast food restaurant. You've probably heard of it. They were kind of we were kind of in the middle of a rush, and they were on their phone, um, and I was working. All the other employees were working, and they were just on their phone when they could have been helping out. So I got a little angry there. I kind of snapped at them a little bit because it kind of made me a little upset that they were just doing that when we were putting in all that work. So I would say my method probably was pretty ineffective. It probably wasn't great. I definitely could have took a different approach. If I would have changed this situation, I would definitely not come off as snappy or pushy, and not say it in as much of a rude tone. I'd probably just go up and talk to him more effectively and be like, "Hey, we're in a rush. Get off your phone," all like that. Instead of how I took the situation, because I had already had a long day prior to that, so I was kind of already a little bit upset about some things. But other than that, the information that I used for that was from a website called Indeed, which also talks about some just leadership things and other interviewing techniques. So, other than that, that is my speech on leadership. Thank you.